You directed the movie Super, and
Yeah.
now you've directed Superman. Are you going to make a movie called Man at any point in your
Yeah, I'm
career?
gonna make a movie called Man next.
Yeah. I'm man.
So, it's finally here. The start of James Gunn's DC universe. The official start. I don't care too much about Creature Commandos. The buzz has been big for this film. It's the first Superman movie in 12 years. And after all the trailers, interviews, and numerous pre-release clips, I can confidently say that this movie is exactly what I thought it was gonna be. If you're familiar with Gunn's other comic book movies, then you already have an idea of what to expect. And well, that's exactly what you get. Now, whether that's a good or bad thing really depends on the person. If you love Gunn's style, then you'll definitely like this. If you don't like his style, then you probably won't. Where do I fall? Firmly in the middle. I really do like Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy films, but as far as his DC projects are concerned, I was less enthralled by them. The Suicide Squad didn't blow me away. Peacemaker wasn't bad, it was alright. Creature Commandos was whatever, but not bad I guess. Superman, I think, is his best DC project, though not as good as his Guardian films. All that just to say, it's a pretty decent movie overall. At worst, it's pretty mid. At best, I think it's a very entertaining and fun movie. Is it worth crying over? No.
I really feel like this is the best Superman movie. I'm gonna fucking cry again.
I need new glasses, because there's something here that I'm just not seeing. Grown-ass man, by the way.
I'm gonna fucking cry again.
Shut the fuck up.
I will say it definitely pulls from other Superman media. It took a few points from Man of Steel and BVS and even Smallville. Gunn pointing to All-Star Superman as a big source of inspiration, as well as leaning very heavy into Christopher Reeve's Superman vibes. Many outlets described it as like the animated series just a live action, and a lot of this is true. It pulls from a lot of different sources to create what kind of feels like a homage to what came before, while also trying to tell a different story, which is kind of good, but it also leads to a lot of things that's feeling very familiar. Not only because the influences are very clear, but also because Gunn's overall style shines through, making it feel like a pretty typical Gunn flick. I think after 5 comic book movies and 2 shows, his style and formula is becoming a bit more obvious and a little stale at this point, going back to the well but yielding less results. It's basically everything he's known for, but just not done as well as his previous films. You got the jokes, you got the quips, you got the ensemble cast of characters with quirky personalities, but just not done as well as his previous projects. The dialogue, for example, is pretty strange at times, for 2 reasons. First is because they want to skip the origins and drop you in a world where metahumans already exist, as well as quickly explain the characters' motives to you since this movie moves pretty fast. So there are a few exposition dumps here and there that they have to get out of the way to catch the viewer up to speed. The second thing are the jokes. Yeah, they're here like we knew they were gonna be, and man, I gotta say, this is probably the most awkward Gunn's writing has been. Most of these jokes just didn't land for me, and I can't speak for every theater, but most of the people at mine barely reacted to them. The humor overall just wasn't that good, and there were several times where they undercut a moment by throwing in a random joke. I rolled my eyes the few times this happened, because the scene will be going really good, and then they'll throw in a random quip or gag just to try to make you laugh. I feel like it's fine just to pull back for a moment and let the serious moment or more dramatic scene just linger, let it stay. But let's talk about the pacing for a moment, because damn, this movie moves really fast. But with how much there is here, I'm not surprised things have to move at a breakneck speed. Hell, the movie starts with a text scroll, similar to Star Wars, that gives you the gist of things and then throws you in, which isn't a bad thing on its own. Star Wars literally opens like this. But the first 20 minutes or so of this movie touches on so much because, like I said earlier, they're putting you in a world where many humans already exist, so they have to quickly establish and touch on things and then move on. They gotta touch on the Justice Gang, Lois and Clark's relationship, this war that Superman stopped before the movie actually started that becomes more relevant later on, the media and the world reacting to Superman's involvement, Lex Luthor and his scheming. It kind of bounces around, giving you the gist of everything before finally focusing up after about 20 or 30 minutes. It's just a lot thrown at you before things actually start to narrow in focus. And it doesn't help that the movie at times feels a little stuffed, like I thought it was gonna be, with Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific making a few appearances, along with Ultraman and the Engineer being Lex Luthor's main henchman. Gunn just loves a big cast of characters. Between them and of course Superman, Lex, and Lois, it's a lot of different characters fighting for screen time, and some are left being pretty forgettable and underwhelming. Hawkgirl, Ultraman, and the Engineer are pretty shallow, but Mr. Terrific is a standout, and Guy Gardner was actually pretty solid too, which really was a surprise for me. I guess looking back, it makes sense why the movie moves so fast, because they're trying to balance all these characters as well as Lois and Clark's relationship, but more importantly, it's gotta show Lex Luthor's plans and schemes, and in typical Lex Luthor fashion, it's pretty complicated, it's got a lot of moving parts. So the movie shifts focus a lot is what I'm saying. It's also a pretty rough looking movie at times. You saw how it looked in the trailers, and that's exactly what you get in the movie. Some CGI looks better than others, so it can look pretty subpar at times or passable other times. So as far as CGI and special effects go, it looks pretty meh.
We certainly smashed his testicles a lot.
Alright, so I'm like halfway through this video and I'm realizing that I'm being a bit too negative. So let me shift gears and reiterate that this isn't a terrible movie. Like I already said, it's pretty damn entertaining and at worst it's just mid. And I'm aware that I'll be in the minority since most people like Gunn's style. So maybe I'm coming off as a bit more critical since I've been following Gunn's career since he made Slither. So I'm just more familiar with his work. And in terms of his comic book movies, I'm just a little bit burnt out on his style. Again, I know I'm the exception and the vast majority of people will not care at all. But regardless of my own bias, there are still a lot of things here to like. Superman is pretty damn good. The character, I mean. This is definitely a more classic throwback Superman, the Boy Scout if you will. I mean, he goes out of his way to save a squirrel, and when battling the big monster, he originally wanted to take it alive and not kill it. And the switch to Clark Kent in the few scenes that we see of him at the Daily Planet are pretty good. He comes off as a bit of a bumbling dork, very reminiscent of Christopher Reeves, so all around I think he's pretty good, even though I don't think the suit is the best. His relationship with Lois isn't bad either, and they have one really good scene showcasing the struggles that dating as Superman would have. I wish we saw more scenes like this, but there's a lot going on in this movie. Lex Luthor wasn't bad here either. He plays the egotistical genius pretty well, and can go from cool, calm, and cocky to crashing out in no time. At times, he's definitely hamming it up, and is very over the top. But overall, not bad. Everyone else, I mean, they're okay. Like I already said, Guy Garner and Mr. Terrific definitely stood out. But others like Ultraman, The Engineer, Hawkgirl, and Metamorpho just felt a bit shallow, which is bound to happen when you have all these characters in a 2-hour movie. But something else positive is that once you get past the spotty CGI, there's a lot of great looking shots here, and the action is pretty damn fun, and there is a lot of it. It throws a lot of set pieces your way, and they are pretty fun and creative. This is definitely the most Superman action we've had in one film in a long time. The music is also pretty solid. When it comes to the licensed songs, they're good. Gunn usually has a good ear when it comes to adding popular songs into his films, and the original score is pretty solid too. Is it as iconic as the John Williams score, or what Hans Zimmer did for Man of Steel? No, but those are incredibly high bars to reach, so for what it is, it's pretty good. So what I'm saying is, by most people's metrics, this will be a pretty fun time, and I guess at the end of the day, that's probably what most people just want. Look at the reception online. The popular opinion is that this is a pretty fun and entertaining movie, and when it's firing on all cylinders, I agree. There's a lot of stuff here, and in my opinion, not all of it is good, but for what it is, it's okay. And it seems that most people are getting something from it that I'm not, and that's okay too. Honestly, just taking a step back, it's pretty refreshing seeing a DC movie receive some very positive attention for the first time in years, and it's performing pretty well too. Like I predicted, it's gonna do better than the last 4 DC movies, so overall it just seems to be a success. As for the future of the DCU, do I want to see every entry similar in style to Superman? No, I don't, and thankfully that doesn't seem to be the plan. Gunn said he wants each entry to feel like their own thing. The Clayface movie, for example, it's gonna be a horror film, and apparently so is Swamp Thing, so that's pretty neat. It appears it's gonna be like how I am with the MCU, at least before it was a bloated mess. There will be some movies that I like more than others, but at least it seems like DC does want to have variety, and not just have every movie feel the same. So in summary, this movie was exactly what I thought it was gonna be. A James Gunn action flick with an ensemble cast of characters, his typical type of humor, and really creative and fun action set pieces. And for some people, that's all they really wanted. Me, I was a little more critical than others. But overall, it's a decent movie. Probably his best DC project, but I don't think it's as good as any of his Garden films. So overall, it's okay, not bad. I mean, if I wanted to be like a butthurt Petty Snyder fan, I could throw a lot of insults and critiques this film's way that are near identical to the same ones Man of Steel and BVS received, but honestly, I don't really give a shit. I'm tired of fighting that battle. But I want you guys to know that I am aware and have seen the comparisons online, and some of it is valid, but honestly, I don't really care too much anymore. We're far past that, and it is what it is at this point. That's also why I refrain from making any comparisons in this video, because there's just no point. It is what it is. So yeah, that'll do it for the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, a dislike if you didn't, and feel free to drag me in the comments.
Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe
Is about to change.